Welcome to the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio. We've got a fast-paced hour of fishing, hunting, and conservation covering the nation and the Northwest, including 13 extra minutes of local content you'll only hear on Seattle's Sports Radio 950 KJR.
Welcome aboard. We've been in Alaska this past week, so you're going to be hearing a best of edition on our national show today, but we've got some fresh content for you on the Pacific Northwest edition of our program to include a conversation with Bob Loomis with Mack at the end of our show about a great lake for kokanee, trout, bass, and crawfish in eastern Washington you've probably never heard of before. At the bottom of the hour, we'll be chatting with that very popular outdoors personality, Scott Haugen, about bird hunting dogs. In this case, a turkey hunting dog. Yes, you heard that right, and I think you'll want to hear more. First, though, let's tell you what's hot. This week in the Pacific Northwest, brought to you by your Puget Sound area Sportsman's Warehouse stores in Everett, Silverdale, Federal Way, and Puyallup. Crab season is going strong in much of the Sound, and your local Sportsman's Warehouse store has everything you need to catch a limit of delicious Dungeness and red rock crab this summer. Our focus today is going to be information from an article Hannah Pennebaker wrote for NorthwestFishingReports.com about fishing off of piers in Puget Sound. Here's her breakdown of where to go and what you might catch, starting with Dash Point in Federal Way, which sees plenty of heavy salmon and bottom fish action on the pier. Anglers come from all over during salmon season, especially pink salmon season, maybe not this year though, to line up and cast their buzz bombs. There's free gated parking, but the park closes at sundown and the staff will lock you in if your car is still there. As for bottom fish, both sand dabs and rock sole are common here, and there's a hole on the left side of the dock where large dogfish and ratfish can be caught. Redondo is located in Des Moines. It attracts both salmon and bottom fish anglers too. In the winter, this is also a great destination for catching buckets of market squid, but unlike many of the other piers we're talking about, generators are not allowed, so if you're going to go squidding at Redondo, you've got to bring a battery instead. There is a paid parking lot, which is very spacious, and be wary of the boat launch on the left side of the pier when casting. Les Davis is a large pier that supports a fantastic variety of fish. Hannah has caught eels, perch, rockfish, ratfish, and flounder there. It's located along Ruston Way in Tacoma, and locals will tell you to fish the left side of the pier for striped perch and the right side for dogfish. Hannah thinks this is one of the friendliest piers around, and veterans are more than happy to help any beginners that show up. One more thing, there is an octopus sanctuary in the artificial reef beneath the pier, so if you hook any octopi, make sure you release them safely. Heading to the pier at Point Defiance, this one tends to be less busy than the others, and it is sheltered away from the crowds. But there is some hot fishing here, especially during pink salmon season, at least when the pinks are in good numbers. Pink buzz bombs and hoochies are obviously the ticket. The boathouse also offers small boat rentals, which can be great for a group of up to 4 anglers. Better still, there's a shop right there next to the pier which has fresh bait and most of the tackle you'll need. At this pier, fish the left side for pile perch and the right side for flounder. So, there you go. If you don't have a boat and want to go saltwater fishing, there's a pier for you. And oh, by the way, don't forget my favorite pier up north, the Public Fishing Pier at Edmonds. And with that, you now know, at least when it comes to pier fishing, what's hot right here in the Pacific Northwest.
That's your first local shot of the outdoors. Now let's see what's going on across the nation.
NorthwestFishingReports.com is the Northwest's largest fishing reports website, featuring well over 50,000 fishing reports, videos, articles, and more. All 100% free. Catch more fish with Northwest Fishing Reports. Log on today.
Get it how you want it. That's what Jones Arms and Squim promises for your custom-built AR. Whether you need an AR for hunting, competitive shooting, or self-defense, Jones Arms will help you create the perfect firearm. Go to jonesarms.com and on Facebook for details.
Ready for more local fishing and hunting? You got it. It's the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio, right here on Seattle's Sports Radio 950 KJR.
We're talking with Scott Haugen. He lives in Oregon, and he's got a dog, and he uses it to hunt pheasant, quail, and even turkey. I know, that's an odd one. That's a new one for me. Scott, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, John. Nice to be back with you.
Scott, how do you hunt turkey with a dog? I've never heard of this before.
It's something a lot of people don't realize you can do, but it's legal in most states throughout the country in the fall. And the reason they don't do it in the spring is because there are so many, young chicks being born. They don't want to get the dogs turned loose, killing them or destroying nests. But in the fall, it's a different ball game, and it's fun because basically what you have is a big old upland bird that smells 100 times stronger than any pheasant or chucker these dogs are going to track. So it's a lot of fun. You have turkeys that are in big flocks this time of year as you go into winter, anywhere from 20 to I've seen flocks of over 200 birds.
Are you flushing them just like you would a pheasant?
Well, I'll go two different ways. The first way is when I see a flock that's feeding in the valley floor or in a field or something like that, I'll wait for them to start making a move into nearby trees. And I really like it if they can start moving uphill. So, it might be a waiting game, kind of like a big game hunt. You're waiting to make that right move at the right time. So I don't want to flush them really right in the middle of the field. I like waiting for them to start moving uphill. Once they get up into some thick brush or heavier tree cover, that's when I'll send the dog in. The dog will go out way ahead of me. The turkeys won't even have any idea I'm there. The dog will get on them, and turkeys, they have a hard time flying, taking off uphill, and if there's brush and cover, then literally they can't take off because they don't have the runway, I guess. Sure, what you're going to get is that a lot of times these birds will just hold. They'll hold in nearby brush, whether it's briar thickets or Scotch broom, vine maple, whatever it is. And if it's low trees, a lot of times they'll just hold in whatever brush is underneath those trees, or sometimes just jump right up into those trees that 10, 15, 20-year-old reprod or oak trees or maples or whatever it is, and then they'll hold tight right in there. And ideally, if they if the dog is trained well, and if there's some birds on the ground, your dog will go on point, and by the time you catch up with them, the dog's on point. You kick them up and flush them, and boy, I tell you think kicking up a covey of quail is exciting? Throw 20, 30 birds that weigh anywhere from 10 to 20 pounds up in the air right in front of you, and it's a flush you'll never forget.
Oh, no kidding. We are out of time, but folks, if you want to find out more about hunting turkeys with dogs, go to Scott Haugen, HAUGEN.com. That's ScottHaugen.com. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, John.
Backcountry hunters and anglers, the men and women working hard to keep public lands in public hands. Check us out at backcountryhunters.org.
Hey, we're talking to Lance Mers today with Mack's Lure Company about a brand new lure that's just slaying the trout out there on area lakes. It's the Smile Blade Spin Drift Trout Lure from Mack's Lure Company. Lance, what makes this lure so special?
Well, we've got our Mack's Lure patented Smile Blade, our high UV components, and the Spin Drift hook, which gives it a great corkscrew action in the water.
There you go, folks. All three components help you catch more fish. The Smile Blade Spin Drift Trout Lure, only from Mack's Lure Company.
Looking for a quality fishing adventure that won't break the bank? Then head to Canada for an all-inclusive fishing vacation with Chad's Coastwide Sports Fishing. Big salmon, halibut, snapper, and lingcod are waiting for you off Vancouver Island. Book now at coastwidesportsfishing.com. That's coastwidesportsfishing.com.
Don't leave yet. We've got one more local shot of fishing and hunting to wrap up the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio.
Once again, it's time for an extended Mack's Minute, and once again, we are joined by Bob Loomis from Mack's Lure. Bob, my favorite world-traveling angler. Let's talk about a fishery that's in eastern Washington, doesn't get a whole lot of press, probably because it's on the Colville Tribal Reservation and it's kind of hard to get to. It's a little bit out of the way. Buffalo Lake. Tell our listeners more about it.
Buffalo is a fantastic fishery. I mean, they have some real good kokanee fishing, some rainbow fishing, real good bass fishing. It's a phenomenal fishery because a lot of people just don't fish it because it's on the reservation. But you can buy a license, and anybody can go fish it.
So you get your tribal permit, you head out there. There is a rough resort, or you can make it a day trip and stay somewhere else close by if you choose to do it that way. What are you using to get these trout, to get these kokanee in the boat?
The kokanee stuff, you would use the typical double D Dodger and squitters, things like that. But if you're running some stuff, I actually like fishing the beaded spinners. And one of them, my favorites, is the Ringmaster, the double whammy Ringmaster.
Why do you like that one in particular?
Just because of the setup. It's got the metal blade. The beads that we have on there are all real high UV, as well as the high UV metal blade, and it gives you a little bit more noise, and helps attract fish from a little bit further away than the smile blade.
Well, the one you've got with you today is hot pink. Is that the color you like at Buffalo as well?
Absolutely.
All right, Buffalo Lake. Head there for trout, head there for kokanee, head there for bass, and don't forget a pot for the crawfish, because it's probably got some of the best crawfishing you're going to find in the state of Washington. Thanks as always, Bob.
Thank you, John.
That's all for this week, but don't worry. We'll do it all again next Saturday morning from 7 to 8, right here on Seattle's Sports Radio 950 KJR.